Informative.
Growth.
Family.
I want to say growth.
Stimulating.
Hi, my name is Elysia Way. I am a current senior at Colchester High School, and for my senior project, I thought it would be cool to take a look at the history behind this pretty awesome place. Before Colchester High School was around, students were tuitioned to other school districts outside of Colchester, most popular being Burlington, followed by Essex. In 1972, Richard Grimley was hired by the Colchester School District to help plan and build the new school. Previously, Colchester had already purchased the land from George and Lydia Shepard at $1,000 per acre. That made the total purchase around $124,000. Built to hold 900 students, the total cost came to approximately $3,754,000, this including land, landscaping, furniture, etc. However, a few things in the original plan didn't work out. The construction of a swimming pool was voted down due to the school's close proximity to the lake, and students were originally only going to be allowed to drive if they had to work after school, and this obviously did not hold true. Finally, the school opened September 1975, making the first graduating class the class of 1976. Lack of resources was kind of a problem with this project, so instead I went straight to the source.
I first heard about the job from my high school football and wrestling coach. He had been at a wrestling tournament, still coaching. A couple of the officials were talking, and one of them happened to be the principal at Colchester High School at the time, Bob Burke. And he needed a math teacher in the middle of the school year. Word of mouth got me here to start in February of 1978, and I've been here since. I've been a math teacher here in this hallway for almost 40 years now. I've coached JV football for the last 10 years here. Prior to that, I coached at Essex, and 10 years ago there was an opening here that I was able to fill and start coaching here.
I was teaching on Long Island at a private school, but my wife and I knew that we wanted to return to Vermont, and I saw that Colchester needed we're increasing their social studies department, so, and they hired me that summer. Summer of 79, so 79-80 was my first year teaching.
John Willard, and I was here from the fall of '85 through 2010. Applied for the job as assistant principal back in the spring of '85. I got the job, so I was on my way. And I had just finished a degree program in administration, so I started looking around. I started as assistant principal, and I did that for 2 years. And then in '87, I became principal. Felt like I was in a position that enabled me to do something school-wide, so that was nice.
So I was a student at Colchester High School from 1986 to 1989. I got the job in October 1999. I was working for my dad, and I heard about the job probably in September. And I got the job in October 1999. I've been the field hockey coach for a couple years, volunteer as the Green Team Advisor. I've been on the K through 12 curriculum planning team. They had a wellness days that I used to be part of wellness planning. I try to do things to keep busy.
I'm Grace Carroll, and I'm a senior at Colchester High School. I'm in jazz band, CHS Cares, International Club, theater, variety night. There's probably more. But
I'm Christian Labrie, and I'm a junior. What am I doing? Oh my god, this is already going well. Hi, my name is Christian Labrie, and I'm a senior. I'm in jazz band, chamber, musicals and plays. I run cross country, I Nordic ski.
My name is Renee Bria, and I am a senior. I have always been in music and theater. Music has been great, working with Miss Toll and also seeing Mr. Peltier on the side, even though I haven't done band. Theater has also been great. That's after school. I do theater outside of school as well, but it's nice to do it with a big group of friends that you know.
Yeah, I've done almost everything you could do at one time or another in the school. In teaching, I also coached until coached right through. Coached track and field for like 26 years and cross-country running for 25 years, and they overlapped in the middle there some.
When I first started, we were sending under 50% of the students on to further education. And I didn't think Colchester was that different from South Burlington, and they're sending like 70+% of their kids. That, it just seemed a little out of whack. So we raised the requirements, we added some advanced placement classes. We found a way to make it more consistent across the teachers. So anyway, we ended up in about 5 or 6 years, we were up to 70%. The other things that we worked on was kind of separating how we treated a senior on his or her way out from a freshman on his or her way in. Part of that discussion led to senior privileges. I tried to get all of the required courses done in the first couple of years, be able to groom it a little bit towards your own interests.
And of course, we've had a long-running development of what we've done around homerooms that have now developed into ATs and home bases, from having nothing to having, a homeroom that met every day that just sort of met for attendance purposes and announcements and things. That's developed into the AT that we have now that, again, I think is one of the strengths of the school.
I don't think teenagers have changed as much as some people think. I don't see any big difference. The ability to communicate with each other, which drives every teacher nutty at one time or another, and cell phones, that's made for, I think the biggest single difference in teenagers today from even 10 years ago are cell phones, really.
Well, technology changes everything. You see people walking down the hall side by side texting each other. But all in all, I don't think the adolescent person has changed significantly. It's a difficult time in people's lives, and I think those challenges have been similar. I think each of those different generations has had their own set of challenges produced by the technology that's available or not, or the situation. So
student behavior very similar. You went to the planning room. The planning room was where a la carte was, because there was a smoking area there. That was right near the smoking area. If you had permission, you could smoke, and if you didn't have permission, you went to the bathroom. You didn't have lockdowns, and you didn't have your curtains covered. There was more of a sense of safety and security. There was a shop downstairs where kids could fix their car, and there was a wood shop, and there was photography downstairs, and there was a preschool here, consumer class where there were about 6 kitchens set up where you would learn to sew, and you organized your world, like life skills. They needed to survive, which we don't do that. We don't hit that side anymore that we used to.
The relationships that students have with teachers are really strong. Generally speaking, lots of teachers that really try to connect well with the students because they feel that that's going to create the best educational response in their students. And I think that striving for that is really important.
I think that the relationships between students and teachers are great because everybody knows that you can talk to the teachers if you need to. If you need help, there's so many resources like Math Lab or the Writers Workshop. They let you know that they're there for you. There's a ton of opportunities to get involved outside of the normal classwork, like L3, the Laker Learning Lab, and you can pick your project and do it in a monitored way, but it's really free. They let you do everything, and there's a lot of trust. I think the teachers really trust the student.
There are some really awesome teachers. In my personal experience, I've had a lot of great teachers who know how to teach different types of learners, and that's really awesome. Not only are they teaching you and being respectful, they're creating relationships that are more than that, and I think they're really giving you some extra support in every aspect.
I think that the sense of community, as I've been here, has ebbed and flowed.
It's been up and down. There have been years, there have been times when it was not anywhere near as happy and everybody all together on it.
There's been challenges within the community around passing budgets and feeling that sense of community from the outside of the building.
It's important to get the outside community to like the school and come into it too and take part.
I think as far as the sense of community within the people I work with has been there throughout.
School spirit has been something that we struggled with for a while. Part of it is, that the school is, relatively speaking, is new. It's been hard to develop this sort of sense of unity.
Community, there was a sense of community around it. It always had a good feel. It was relaxed, never felt frantic. It was a place you could go to work, go to as a student, hopefully sort of feel like, well, okay, pretty comfortable here. No matter where I went, how far out, in whatever direction, whether in any of the roles, I always felt that there was somebody supporting me.
I think one of my favorite classes was definitely T-Rev because I had it with Hammond and McCardle, and Hammond and McCardle were just spectacular. I have psychology this year, just a semester-long class. Super fun. George Dean is amazing, so take psychology.
I love the music department. The teachers are so nice and it's really a community within that department, between grades, between like social statuses.
Some favorite classes would be AP Chem. It's probably my favorite class because while taking experimental chem with Mr. Warren, it helped me realize that I wanted to go into biochemistry.
I think we should know more about the history. I do know when it opened. It opened in 1975, I believe.
I know that we were founded in like the 70s.
But I don't know too much else.
That's about it.
I don't know anything.
Delving deeper into the history of CHS would be kind of a fun project.
I feel like isn't there like a year on the building somewhere, like 1973 or something?
You know, if I went to CHS during the 70s, I think that a lot of our programs hadn't quite flourished at that point. So now we have a lot more programs. You know, we're constantly adding sports programs, adding classes and prep materials for college.
There's a GSA club at Colchester, Gay Straight Alliance, or maybe it's Queer Straight Alliance now, I'm not totally sure. I'm not personally involved in, but I have a lot of friends who are, and I've been to one or two of the meetings. It's like a place for the LGBTQ plus community at Colchester High School to meet. It's really not that much of like a stigma like you might expect. You know, in the 70s, 80s, or 90s, they wouldn't have that because there was, especially back then, such a stigma. It was pretty much like unheard of, and it would have been really political for CHS to get involved in that. I just think it's great that we have that kind of opportunity now.
I think that being different wouldn't have been as acceptable. That's something that I've really been thankful for, to be born in a generation where we are starting to accept people who are not following the status quo and almost encouraging them to, and I think that's awesome.
I will miss CHS, at least for the people, because I mean the people are really what make the school.
I think I am going to miss it because there is this sentimental value to it with how much I've grown as a person. Being in the school where it is so diverse and so supportive, CHS has taught me to be more accepting of people who are different, and it allowed me to put myself in the shoes of another.
Generally speaking, things that I've learned from CHS, planning skills, or at least my attempt at them, and really working together. CHS really promotes that. Really, high school is all about giving people opportunities. Whether you take those opportunities or not, it helps you inform you about what you want to do with the rest of your life, where you want to go to college. Informative. That's CHS.
I will miss CHS so much. I've made a ton of friends here, both students and teachers. I guess what I've learned the most is that where there's passion, there's always the next level. If there's something that interests you, there are so many opportunities to like go out there, do the research, do a project, talk to teachers, and they like want to help you. They want to help you explore your interests and help you succeed in them. What I've learned the most is just, if there's something that you like or that interests you, just go for it.
I'd have to say that this has been my life. Things that are important to me are my family and my job, and outside my family, this has been the most important thing to me over the last 40 years, this place and the people I've worked with. It's been more than a job. It really has been an integral part of my growth as a person and as an adult.
I enjoyed all aspects of my different roles here. I hope it stays about the same size. I think the size of the school is important. I would hope that it keeps doing what it's doing. You can walk through the hall, and if you may not know everybody, you'll recognize their faces. And I think they have a balance of autonomy. You have to be able to work without somebody on your back, and you're responsible for what you do.
I hope that we continue to grow and evolve along the path that we've been on the last, 8 or 10 years. I think we've been in a pretty good growth curve and growth path of focusing on what's best for students and how to best help students to be successful. If I had to come up with a word for CHS, it would be family. CHS is family to me, and I'm always finding another family member somewhere else along the way.
Doing this project as I finish up my last year here at CHS has given me the opportunity to meet new people, hear new stories, and reflect on what my 4 years have really taught me. And learning about this place has increased my appreciation for the school and all the amazing memories that I'll carry with me when I leave. So, here's to CHS.